I'm Dr. Michael Bookhardt. Come join us at our newest clinic location at Good Faith Wellness Center. We provide compassionate health care for your entire family, from virtual visits to office appointments. We're committed to providing the best care. We accept all insurances, and we provide monthly wellness plans. Let's start your family journey to a healthier, happier life. Schedule your appointment today, and remember, true wealth begins with good health. All right, hello. Welcome to another exciting episode of Telehealth Tuesday. This is your go-to podcast for insights on modern healthcare and wellness solutions. I'm Dr. Michael Bookhardt, your host. Today we have a very special episode lined up just for you. But look, before I tell you all about our next guest, and I see that those are coming into, I see that we've got some folks coming in. Apologies for we were running a little bit behind, as we say. This is live social media. And so with that, as you all know, that there are technical difficulties anytime you're doing anything live. But look, I want to tell you guys, as you all know, that Telehealth Tuesday can be viewed on multiple platforms. You can catch us on our YouTube channel, Dr. B TV, which is the word doctor, spelled out DOCTOR, the letter B as in boy, TV, on YouTube, and also Instagram and Facebook pages, Good Faith Wellness Center. Please follow, like, share, and subscribe to help support this amazing program. So look, without further ado, I want to tell you all about our amazing next guest, who really needs no introduction, especially here in Jackson, Mississippi, and likely across this country. Mr. Kyris A. Brown is a native from Cleveland, Mississippi. He now resides in Florence, Mississippi. He's a proud 2001 graduate from Eastside High School. He received a dual Associate of Science degree in Business and Fashion Apparel from Mississippi Delta Community College in 2003, and he then transferred to the University of Southern Mississippi, where he obtained a dual bachelor's degree in Business, Marketing, and Fashion. He's also completed coursework for a master's degree in Sociology with emphasis in Organizational Leadership from Grambling State University. Professionally, Kyris has worked in upper management in corporate America for two separate Fortune 100 companies. Later, he transitioned into higher education, where he served 13 years in multiple roles as a recruiter, director of international affairs for Grambling and Stillman College, and interim dean of enrollment management at Stillman College and assistant to the president. Kyris enjoys devoting his time to mentoring, traveling the world, reading, lecturing, investing, networking, all in the company of his wife, Dr. Crystal Brady Brown, and daughters. Now, is that you're gonna help me with the pronoun, because I see you got the accent marks. I don't want to mess with this. Covey and Claire. I'm gonna let you do that, brother. I think let me take you off the mute. I'm gonna because I don't want to mess up the babies' names, and so we're gonna let you tell those babies' names. He's also an active member of Kappa Alpha Psi Fraternity Incorporated. And look, listen, for those of us that represent the black and old gold, that might be Mr. Kyris' only fault in life. But no, I'm just joking, man. He's a great brother, and we love all our fellow D9 members. So look, without further ado, ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Kyris A. Brown. Let's give it to him. How you doing, good brother?
Can you hear me?
Oh, yeah, we got you. How you feeling tonight?
Check something.
I think it may just be a little delay. I can see you there, but just...
Can you hear me now?
Yep, I can hear you.
I can't hear you still.
Can you hear me? No. I think we might get a little bit of technical difficulties there. Let's see. Bear with us just 1 second, folks. We're going to get this sorted out momentarily.
I'm still trying to.
Okay. Let's see.
Let's see if this. I still can't hear you, Doc. I apologize.
Can you? Okay. Can't hear. I wonder if you got your your audio, is it coming out of the phone? Can you? I don't know if you got it hooked up to any Bluetooths or anything like that. Let's see. Can you see me? We may need to let you come back in. Let's see. That may help it. Let's see. Can you hear me now?
I can't hear you.
No. We can hear you.
Let's see if we can do this right.
Let's see. See it online. Testing. Let's see. We'll try to. Hold on just 1 second, good people. Let's see. Try this. Let's see. 1 second, good folks.
Yeah, now.
Okay. Can you hear me?
Yep, I can hear you now.
Okay. Perfect. All right. You can hear me. You can see me.
Yeah, we're good.
Okay, perfect. So you didn't, ladies and gentlemen. So don't I see a few people out? Y'all come on back in. Now we've got Mr. Kyris Brown. So Kyris, you didn't hear me when I went through the bio. You didn't hear me.
Unfortunately, I didn't. I saw you talking, but I can't read lips.
Man, look, I threw a little bit of fun shade at Kappa Alpha Psi. That look, you look when because at the end of it, we read I was trying to pronounce your wonderful children's names, and you got the accent mark, and I was saying, hey, I don't want to mess up the baby's
It's
name.
no problem.
Yeah, and then I
Yeah,
said,
so we got the diaresis over each E to diaresis kind of they pronounced alone. So you got Covey and then you got Clee. Um, put
oh,
the diaresis over the E's just so people won't call it Cove.
oh, okay. I thought about. I was like, well, let me. I don't want to say Covey. I said, wait a minute now.
Yeah,
I had
yeah. Typically, people think the apostrophe over the E is you pronounce it like that, but it's basically you pronounce the words alone. So it's really Cove E, but we just say it together. It's Cove, like 2 syllables.
I gotcha. I like that, man. That's unique, brother. I like that.
Yeah, I got it from Joview.
From where?
Jovial.
Ah, gotcha. Okay, okay.
Yeah.
And look, and then yeah, so I threw a little banter in there because I said, I said when at the end of your bio, you talk about being a distinguished member of KSI, and I said that might be Mr. Kyris Brown's only issue in life that he didn't join that black and old gold, So
Hey man, I won't hold it against you, but I got love for y'all.
and so I said we want to bring you in. So ladies and gentlemen who are just tuning in, we've got the technical difficulties worked out. We are here, and again, as I said before, this is live TV, live social media, so any and everything can go wrong, especially with Murphy's Law. But the good Lord has brought us back together, so praise God. He is here in the flesh, and I want to give that amazing welcome once again, ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Kyris A. Brown.
Thank you.
All right. So yeah, man, I know we're running a little behind. We're gonna get into it, but tell us, first of all, how you feeling tonight?
I'm good. I'm good. It was a pretty productive Tuesday, to say the least. So yeah, it's actually, the weather has been very motivating the last 2 days in comparison
Mhm.
to last weekend and weekend. So
Yeah,
I think you can do anything as far as with good weather. So
yeah, absolutely. And congratulations! I saw you were nominated for the 50 under 50 in Jackson,
yeah,
Mississippi.
yeah, I appreciate it. Thank you. Yeah, stuff like that don't ever happen to me, man. So like I was kidding with everybody, my wife and a few others. I said that's my Mississippi Grammy, my Mississippi Emmy, and Emmy Award, and all in one. So yeah, it was definitely an honor and a privilege.
That's awesome, man. That's awesome. Yeah, I'm gonna have to join them next year, man. I got to get. I think I was just running a little behind. They had nominated me as well. I would have been up there with you, man, but
I got
I got caught up a little bit. But this time, I already let them know we're gonna be
you.
right
Yeah,
with you.
it was a great event. It was a great event.
Awesome, awesome. So tell us, man, Kyris, man, tell us all about how you got involved in the fashion industry, and just maybe let our audience know for those that don't know you, tell us all about Kyris Kustoms and what you do there.
Yeah, sure. Fashion is some people come from musically inclined families and sport inclined families, and I also come from a medical inclined family, and fashion was involved also. So basically your typical black family take pride in their dressing and appearance. On my mom's side, and I've always just had a thing for clothes. Clothes basically was synonymous like with sports and martial arts. They were kind of like my first loves that brought me out of my shell, because I was an introverted kid, and, when I was young, very shy. Come from a very large family, so but we took pride in our dress, and throughout the years, my mom, she was a great dresser. My biological father, uncles, great grandfather was the quintessential Southern gentleman. Always wore a fedora.
Mhm.
So I just had a knack for it, and as I got older, more so into junior high and high school, I had the opportunities kind of just to be hands on with clothing, more so sneakers first. And
Okay.
did a science project when I was in sixth grade with the Jordans 11s, the original Jordan Concords, and I had two pair. And one pair, I basically my science project was the components of an athletic shoe.
Hmm.
So I basically disassembled the shoe, but when the science fair was over with, I had some scrap Louis Vuitton scarf that my mom had, and I sewed it around the patent leather and assembled the shoe back together. Came back to school, and everybody went crazy. That's kind of common now, but we talking back in 1995 in the Mississippi Delta, it wasn't too common. So so
Boy.
yeah, we talking about 30 years ago, but that's typically how I started. And as I progressed through high school, I started messing with clothes and taking clothes like jerseys and other things and kind of like remixing it and putting my own twist to it. And
Hmm.
eventually, when I got to college, well, prior to college, I was looking for a school that I possibly could do something in fashion. And lo and behold, the junior college that I basically had that I was looking at. They had the program, and I double majored in business and fashion, and went there to Mississippi Delta Community College for 2 years, and then I had a family member who was playing football down in Southern Miss that was an All-American, so I used to go down there all the time. And come to find out, they had one of the first programs as far as bachelors in the state. And I went down there and did the same thing, double majored. Got out of school and, did some internships with Sean John and Carolina Panthers. And initially I started working for myself after I graduated. But when I got into the corporate field, of course, I had to wear suits every day.
Right.
I kind of started in that lane, and then when I got on Instagram back in 2011, automatically I noticed that it was going to be pretty much an advertisement direct-to-consumer platform, which it is today, being that I was a marketing major. And I just kind of learned before algorithms, before hashtags, where I would probably get the most likes from when I would post things, and typically it was clothing and when I would travel. So from there, I just stuck at it, and that's kind of how I kind of started growing my following. And then, God pretty much has given me some serendipity moments where I've met people that was in the industry, met people that were, mentors from afar, met resources when it comes to like clothing, fabric manufacturers and so on and so forth. And, once I have my mind set on something, it's pretty much a wrap. I'm a kamikaze, I'm gonna go for it. So, uh, 12, 13 years later, here I am.
Yeah, man, that's awesome, brother. That's awesome. So let's go back to those Jordans, man, those Concord. So you said you took a Louis, but what did you sew to the patent leather?
All right, so my mom had a Louis Vuitton scarf, pretty much hanging around. So the patent leather that's around the black part, I took a scarf, an LV scarf, and I basically glued it, as far as fused it first, and then on the bottom of the insole, before I attached the heel and the gum first, I basically stitched it underneath, and then I assembled the heel, and then that's how I was kind of stationary, and then I stitched it around the top on the board as far as in the inside. But yeah, that's how I actually did it when I finished the science project. 'Cause I had to put the shoe back together because I
Yeah,
took it apart.
man, that's crazy, man. We gotta look at some pictures of that, man, at some point.
Yeah, I actually got a few old pictures of some sneakers I used to, do, for the
Okay.
most part. Yep. I wish I had those original shoes. Fraternity brother of mine kind of lost it. I couldn't fit the shoe no way because I was in sixth grade, but
Oh
it'll
yeah,
still be, I would say a family heirloom to
yeah,
how I got started.
man. That's awesome. So what made you start your fashion company, and how would you say it helps African American people feel more confident?
Well, I initially started because, again, I was in corporate, and then I switched over to higher education. I worked in higher education about 13 years. Recently retired about 2 years ago, but I served as a dean, director of international affairs, interim vice president of enrollment management, assistant to the president. So, of course, I had to pretty much put on clothes every day. I had some of the resources and knowing how to formally make clothes, and then also I knew how to put a team together because I had resources.
Right.
And I really wanted to kind of stick in the genre of suiting because typically people that wear suits got money.
That's
So
right.
I didn't
That's
want to do anything in the urban field because that was, I would say, partially what I was interested in. And then I kind of studied companies that was in the urban, I would say, clothing business like your Sean Johns, your Rockawares, and your Fubu's. Those brands that once were probably hot and they probably had a good 2 or 3 year run. But now, they play it out, as we would say. You really wouldn't get caught dead in no Fubu right now.
that's right.
And the reason being is because um, those companies oversaturated the market at one point. And you can look at companies like Ralph Lauren that's been here since the 60s.
Right.
That company, of course, you can buy blue label Polo Ralph Lauren anywhere. We can buy it in the mall here, but you can't buy purple label anywhere. And the difference between a Ralph Lauren or like those urban companies that they have a flagship, which is like the standard or a high design, line.
Hmm.
Those other ones are basically just general lines. So I kind of learned things from that, as well as like Lamborghini and Ferrari. You don't see any Lamborghini and Ferrari, commercials or anything, because they have a certain demographic that they don't necessarily have to market to the masses to.
That's right.
And I really just wanted to carve out a niche to provide custom clothing, whether it's made to measure or bespoke, just so I can penetrate one demographic. And as far as the actual wardrobe, providing wardrobe services, I mean, it's a confidence boost. It's no different than when you would go to the barber shop and you get that fresh cut, their fresh shave.
Hmm.
It's a confidence, it's a pick me up. Or when you go to the car wash that Friday, Saturday morning, you get basically your car detail. It's a pick me up. So it's no different than when you put on a custom suit or even a tailor suit that you bought off the rack, but you went to alterations or a tailor to get it tailored to complement your silhouette. So these are all confident boosters at the end of the day.
Mm. Awesome. Awesome. So what would you say that have you ever yourself put on a new outfit and felt like a whole new person, like, and why does that happen? Like building, like you said, building confidence.
Of course, all the time. When I put this suit on earlier, it was a rush. For the most part.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm not a psychologist, but I understand that it has something to do with pretty much our psychology on letting off certain endorphins to make us feel good or feel
Mm.
better. Basically having certain pleasures. And I think upkeep, male grooming, clothing, these are all things that kind of give us that adrenaline rush or letting off these endorphins
Mhm.
to make us feel good. And they are definitely, confidence boosters. Just like Dion said, if you look good, you play good, and pay good, pay good and you live good. So,
Yeah.
one thing that my great grandfather, Henry Perkins, he taught me, a lot of us, but specifically, just me when I was young, it's three things that people notice the first time when they see you, and that should raise your gender and what you got on. And you should represent those three very well at all times. So it always stuck with me. So anything that, it doesn't necessarily have to just be a suit. It can just be a regular T-shirt. If the T-shirt, is clean and it's fresh and it's, pressed and it feels comfortable, then I'm comfortable, and that basically gives you a lot of confidence and self-esteem. Just having on very clean clothes and basically being groomed.
Mm. So and tell us, when it comes to the really cool stuff here. Now, I know that you do a lot of suits and different gear for celebrities, athletes, and all that. Are there any that you'd like? I know that a lot of the guests, they want to hear that kind of stuff. Like maybe some. Well, we saw on your social media, we know that you've done
Sure.
work with Coach Prime, but can you talk about any of those things?
Yeah, when Coach Prime was here in Jackson, I did a lot of custom pieces, specifically Jackson State pieces. When he got to Colorado, I did a few individual custom pieces for him. That was an honor because Coach Sanders was definitely top five athlete that I grew up idolizing,
Absolutely.
as well as you could say I call him Unc now, but Mahmoud Abdul Rauf, which is formerly known as Chris Jackson. He's
Yeah.
another top five athlete that I always idolize, and I got a pretty much like a family relationship with him now. Something for Cam Jordan for the New Orleans Saints. Future first I've done things with Terrell Buckley, Mississippi, who actually won the Super Bowl. I also was a coach. The list goes on and on. Done things for former Secretary of Agriculture, Mike Espy.
Hmm.
The list goes on.
I think it's cutting out a little bit. Can you hear me? I think let's see. Can you hear me?
Inspiration for because of the field that they're in or the actual sport that they play, whatever they may be. But I'm a people's person. I love just good people in general. So it could be the man
Absolutely.
who works at waste management.
Yeah,
He got
right.
a good, unique story. I'm all for it. But yeah, those are some, a few of the notable, names that I've actually done some things for.
Absolutely. I think it was cutting out a little bit. Might be just the network glitches. I think Terrell Buckley and uh,
Yeah.
Coach Prime and
Yeah, Terrell Buckley, Coach Prime, Cam Jordan that plays for the New Orleans Saints.
mhm.
A few other people, Senator, Secretary of Agriculture Mike Espy. A few others.
Yeah, absolutely. Do you is the process any different? Like, is there a lot of kind of red tape to go through when you work with celebrities? Like sometimes it's a little more of a process, than say Joe Blow off the street, or is
Yeah,
it?
yeah. Sometimes, I was fortunate to kind of have, um, I would say, a hands-on policy with Coach Prime when we, did certain things.
Mhm.
However, he is a busy person, so there are a few buffers that you probably have to contact to get to him because, like I said, he probably has a very demanding schedule, which I know he is. But for the most part, I've been really blessed to have these personal relationships. Like I can call Cam right now. I can call Mr. Espy. I can call McMove. I really can call almost all the people that I've really dealt with. If I can't get in contact with Dion, I know how to reach him. I can call somebody that pretty much is right right beside them. So for the most part, when you deal with certain people, of course there are certain layers and buffers, and I respect that. But honestly, I prefer not to deal with that because I don't need a liaison to carry my message. I'd rather talk to the person individually. But again, I respect the processes and the chain of commands that some people have in place because I understand sometimes it's necessary.
Hmm. Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. So take us, tell me about the experiences when you walk into Kyris Customs. What is that experience like? I know you shared with me earlier, unfortunately, that you and somebody else that's close to you suffered a lot of unfortunate water damage recently.
Yeah, unfortunately, it was some rain that hit us over the weekend, specifically Sunday. But the drains in the front of our office building, it kind of backed up, and then our offices are like right in the front of the building when you come into the glass double door. So I had a little water damage, but
Sorry.
the building and the management company, they work with me and they're very good people. So we're getting that restored right now. But when you come in, we book a consultation. Those are free of charge if you come into my location showroom downtown Jackson. But come right in and got Chesterfield couches and I have over 3,000 swatches to choose from for our sample fabrics. And typically, I just give you some general questions, what brings you here, what's going to be your wardrobe needs. It's going to be something specific like a wedding, a ceremony, a graduation, or it may be something that you're just looking to have a wardrobe enhancement that you're trying to recreate your wardrobe, whether because you've had, some weight changes, some lifestyle changes. You may taking on a new job or a new career field, and your wardrobe is going to need to be changed. So these are just some of the prerequisite questions that I ask, and that'll kind of give me a template to where to start. And from there, it's very relaxing. I usually try to put on some George Benson to kind of make everything mellow and jazz out, and we can sip some bourbon or some scotch or some whiskey, whatever it may be, or even light up a cigar. But from there, I just ask you the questions on based on your needs, and once we kind of, get the fulfillment of the aesthetic and the style that you're looking for, and also solidify the type of fabric. Once I give you some education, I kind of, share how we're going to produce the suit because there's different methods of production when you're, custom making a suit. And once you kind of are satisfied on the, the methods that I take, the last thing is we'll go over fitting, and I kind of basically go over fitting from basically your neck to your ankles. I'm pretty thorough when it comes to measurements, and just go over the fit, kind of give you some education, and from that education, I kind of tell you, you know, the standard on how a suit's supposed to fit your silhouette and your body. And from there, I ask you what's your preference and your comfort and style. Because, you know, some people like their pants to break, some people don't like breaks. Some people like standard coats, some people like a longer coat. But we kind of go through that whole process when we actually going through the fitting and the measurement portion. And then once that is all done and I have all that information, that kind of lets me know where my price pointer to be, because in my line of work, the price typically falls on the production method of the suit, the quality of the fabric, and then also the style or how detailed of the bespoke method that we're going to choose. And whatever the total price is, you know, I share it, and I usually ask for a 50% deposit up front. And that's really for me to secure the fabrics, the materials, all the things that I need, the logistics of shipping it over from Europe, because I deal with mills in Europe. And once it gets here stateside, you know, we start production on it. And, you know, depending on the method, sometimes a turnaround is 21 days. Sometimes it can be 3 or 4 months if we doing certain things, like if it's 100% handmade or what we call benchmark or bespoke. It's a lot more labor intensive, and there's multiple fittings that go into that.
Right.
But then we have a shorter route, which is still good high tailoring as far as the quality, but it's, you know, less time frame, because the material that we're going to use, I would say, is more so you can use it by machine and then once I'm finished, I bring you into the shop. We go over fitting and make sure everything is good. And if everything is pleased, then you know my job is done.
So let's say if you know, a person's like, man, I love this. I love the look, the feel of the fabric, but man, it's just either something is just a little, you know, too like snug around the midsection or too loose or whatnot. Do you do anything like in-house, either yourself or bring a tailor in to alter it right there on the
Yeah,
spot?
I typically won't alter it, you know, the same day unless it's like an emergency that I
Right.
made. But yeah, I try not to touch outside clothing that I didn't make to do alterations, because when it comes to certain production methods, you know, especially if it's retail, it's a little bit different. So some things that I'm able to do with custom clothing, specifically something that, you know, came from my shop. I probably can't do it if it came off of the shelf or off the rack, because the way it was produced. But long story short, if you come in and you need some alterations, just depending on the detail of it and if I made it or not, then you know I can actually accommodate you for you know that request.
But if it well, like, yeah, I guess I was speaking more so about your product, your suits and your products.
Oh
Like,
yeah,
yeah, like,
yeah.
is that something you do? Do you actually alter it yourself, or do you bring a?
Yeah. If I'm behind the 8 ball and I have to get in there and take off, you know, roll up the sleeves, I can do it. You know,
You
I
do?
have emergency shops here, also, you know, so yeah, it's no problem. That's one of the services that I provide. So when we come back and we do the fitting, you know, if I made a mistake, I honor my work free of charge. But if say if you had some type of weight, as far as influx or decrease, you know, it's going to be on you as far as the compensation, because I'm not controlling your eating habits and your weight. But for the most part, I can still, you know, make sure I alter it that it'll fit you properly, and you know, we do that in house.
That's pretty funny, man. That's a good one. So, what would you say is like the most costly suit that you've ever done? Like, how much do you remember that price?
Yeah, so probably the most expensive suit I've ever done has been a Xenia fabric, full hand, which is made 100% by hand. And that typically was right around $5,500, something like that. Took
Hmm.
about 3 months to make, you know. But that's not an average price for as a suit, a custom suit that comes from my shop. But that definitely is probably the most expensive suit that I've ever done, because it's the quality of the fabric within itself. Xenia is a very respected company as far as fashion house and fabric mill. You know, they're up there with the flagships like the Louis Vuitton, the Givenchy's, and so on and so forth, the Lord Piana. Like I have Laura Piana fabric accounts, Zinga accounts, a Laura Piana. I just did a Laura Piana suit probably a month ago, and that's a $3,500 suit. And honestly, that's relatively inexpensive coming from my shop because you can go to a Laura Piana store and get a suit for about $7,000 in the store, and that's off the shelf.
Wow.
So yeah, it just depends.
Wow. And do you ever do any clothing for ladies or?
Yeah,
Mm,
I actually just did for I just did something for a lobbyist downtown Jackson, Mrs. Kelly Crest. I actually was in her office today doing her last fitting. So yeah, I do
mm.
things for women as well. I don't do dresses, but as long as it has the silhouette of a suit or even like a pencil skirt, I can do things like that.
Okay. Awesome. Awesome. You I was gonna ask you something, man. It just slipped my mind there. So with your and is there anybody else that works in the shop, or is it just all kind of depending
Well,
on
I
the
have
point like you?
offsite. I have roughly 13 tailors total that actually do the back end production methods, including myself. And those are all, basically staff that are contracted out. I have two facilities in which we actually do the production, and then I have an emergency shop here where we do part production. So it just depends. Most clients east of Texas we do here. Most clients west of Texas I do in Los Angeles. So yeah.
Oh, okay. Do you feel like dressing dressing well and dressing for success, do you feel like that can truly help people when it comes to their job performance and even in their personal relationships, like the way that you dress and present yourself?
Yeah, it definitely is a perk. I don't think it'll, carry you all the way over because, you still have to be knowledgeable based on, whatever you're into. And if, relationship wise, you still have to be, I would say, a good individual knowing certain, etiquette. But putting on some fresh threads, man, putting on a nice suit, it definitely can put you in certain rooms and get certain looks and getting certain, who is that, for the most part. So it is I would say it's a very good icebreaker.
Hmm.
I've traveled all over the world. I've been certain places where I might have a blazer or full suit on, and I've met some very interesting people based on just my appearance alone. So definitely. And then also by me being married, I love being dressed up with my wife, going to certain places, whether it's to dinner or wherever it may be. We're going to see Hamilton in 2 more months, and already just thinking about like what I'm gonna wear to the place. So
Yeah,
yeah, it's definitely an icebreaker, and it definitely can get you over the hump.
yeah, that's awesome. You, I was wondering, do you have a story like a success story about one of your clients who, once you put this suit or this, whatever you did for them, once you saw them change their appearance and don this new suit, do you have like a success story of how you instantly saw gratification of how it changed them or their life?
I mean, I have a lot of success stories, but I would just really pinpoint to the clients the first time they're getting a custom suit. I would say specifically my wedding clients, because I do a lot of weddings a year. I probably average between 65, 70 weddings a year.
Oh
And,
wow.
I would say a bulk of those guys probably never had any custom tailoring done before. But,
Mhm.
man, when we come in for that last fitting, and I open that bag up and they see, whatever they wanted me to do for them, and I could see just the excitement, even without a smile. I could just see how their eyes are just penetrating on, like, wow. And then the words start to come out, like, man. So I've had grown men literally cry in my shop,
Really?
saying, man, I knew it was gonna be nice, but this is just, it's just a lot. It's overwhelming. And then, of course, I don't take any work lightly, but weddings are I mean, those are very lifestyle achievements. I mean, those are very, milestones that, people have the opportunity to get married. So to be a part of so many people's lives that shift in their family, their family's legacy. I can't wait. I mean, still to this day, I mean, I still look at old photos of weddings that I've done in the past because
Yeah.
I'm kind of tenured in this. And I even get emotional, man, because just to be a part of people's big day, it's very overwhelming to me, and I don't take it for granted. So I think the first time guys come in and they see their custom piece, whether it's for a wedding or for a graduation or for prom, I always just see the fulfillment in guys and young men's eyes and just their expression of being just overwhelmed and just thankful. So it's an honor. But I do have a recent success story. I got a friend that I made a suit for 5 years ago for his interviews for med school, and
Wow.
he's about to graduate.
Man.
And we have a fitting coming up, so I can make his graduation suit. And just 5 years ago, I made his first suit for his interviews.
Wow.
So that's awesome right there.
That's man. That's a great story, bro. That's a
That's awesome. And I come from a medical family. My oldest brother's a doctor. My wife's a dentist. My dad that raised me is a doctor. I grew up in a medical. I was the black sheep, but so I just know the process of just medical school, the whole just medical path. Whether you're a nurse, nurse practitioner, I know all of that because I've been around it my entire life. So
mhm.
just to have this story to share with them, then it's just awesome. So that's a success story that's recent because I just talked to him yesterday actually.
Man. And so he's graduating this year in June.
Yeah, he's graduating from UMC this year. Yep.
Man, that's awesome, man. Congratulations to him.
Yeah.
That's a huge achievement because I know even years ago when I was man, woo,
Yeah. Yeah. I remember when my brother was in medical school, man. So I salute anybody that's been to any professional school, but medical school is a whole nother beast.
yeah, absolutely. So and just a couple other things. I know we ran a little over time.
No, it's no problem.
Yeah, okay, great. So how do you help somebody find a style that truly fits them instead of like do some of the gentlemen come in saying, "Man, I want to look like this person," or "I want to look like Odette Beckham or somebody," I want to look like this celebrity, or even Coach Prime. Like I
Right.
want this look, and they're following either this celebrity's look or a trend. How do you help somebody find a style that truly fits them, their own, makes it their own?
So typically, the first thing I ask for, what is it for? Is this for a specific event, or is this a wardrobe enhancement? Are you adding to your wardrobe? And once I kind of find out what the event is, or if it's just to add to his wardrobe, that's going to be my segue. So if it's for an event, I ask what type of event it is, just to make sure that you are following the etiquette or the dress code of the event, and then that'll kind of give me some leeway into where I need to go. If it's just for your wardrobe, I ask you, what do you have already in your wardrobe, and that'll kind of give me a template on what's to add. Um, I try not to necessarily style people to mimic other people. What I try to do is I try to, carve out what's your style and what's your preference, because fashion is subjective. This is all opinionated. What I like, somebody else may not like. And what I try to do during consultations, I make sure that I just try to pinpoint what they need this actually garment for, and then that's really my template. And from there, the first rule of dressing is comfort. You know, I don't care what you have on. If you're not comfortable, then you're not going to be, you're not going to feel confident. So whether if it's something formal or if it's something, just to add business wise or business casual or casual, I always just try to bring in the person to actually meet their comfort level. And then everything else, I show the colors, I show different textures. I try to play off the seasons, I try to play off of the event, I try to play off the environment that the person is going to be in. And then that's how we actually just bring that combination in to, yield to the final product.
Okay. And then what would you say? I think you talked about Coach Primes. When people talk about basically when you look good, you feel good.
Yep.
You like I think we touched on it earlier, but why would you say fashion has that much power? I know, like, not trying to do psychology, but like what is it in people? Like, is it just that? Do you feel like it gives them just a new presence, a new meaning? Like, it just makes them feel like you said, getting a haircut. Do you feel like when those gentlemen put that suit on, they really feel transformed?
Oh yeah. I mean, I think it taps into some just primal human emotions. I think we're visual people.
Hmm.
Especially black people. We take pride in everything, in our dress, our appearance, what we have. A lot of people don't know the story of Cadillac, but black people, saved the car company Cadillac back in the 30s and 40s. And the reason being is because some of the executives, the war, and then also on the back end just of the Great Depression, a lot of people didn't have money for as white people. But these black people who couldn't necessarily put their money in banks, that couldn't get loans, they would save up that money up under their mattress, up in their shoebox, and their coffee can, and they would go and buy these cars used full in cash. And that's why Cadillac is a huge staple, and it's a status symbol still in the black community. So it's just visual, man. We like to think, we like to look good, we like to appear. Sometimes we live above our means, and what the young kids say, be capping. But for the most part, we're visual people, and as long as you want to be seen, you're gonna try to look your best at all times. And I think that's where the confidence is, because it's a human nature to want to be a part of something, to actually be acknowledged and want to be seen. Even if you're shy, you still have that vanity within yourself, that you want to be acknowledged, or you want to be seen in some ways. And when you want to be seen, you want to look the part, you want to look the best. So I think that's where a lot of the confidence comes from. Especially, one of the old Kanye songs, I forgot what song, but the lyric go like, um, I'm gonna spend something on these Louis loafers just to say you ain't up on this.
Oh,
It's the one up. So when you got certain clothes on, or certain whatever it may be, you always want to say, "Hey man, I'm the only one. I know they got this on." So that's all a part of confidence and self-esteem, and just self-arousement, and just boosting your own self-esteem. So
yeah, absolutely, absolutely. Tell us, one other question. What do you really want Kyris Customs to be, remembered for? Like, and or when it comes to that and inspiring people, like what is your vision for the legacy of your company?
I mean, honestly, I think it's a two-part question with a two-part answer. Well, first, this is what I envisioned when I was a kid. When I was a senior in high school, we used to have senior books about what you're gonna do in the future, and where you want to live, and what type of house and cars and your occupation. I kind of share it all the time on my social media. That I show people my senior book and all the things that I'm doing now. I
Hmm.
wrote it back when I was 17 years old. And that alone is the success, because a lot of people, unfortunately, don't have the patience, don't have the fortitude, don't have the self discipline or motivation to actually see through their dreams and their goals and their aspirations. I'm not changing the world by making clothing, but what I am doing, I'm shifting my family's legacy. I'm setting an example for my daughters. Like, okay, my dad said he wanted to do this when he was a kid, and he actually did it. That alone is just a success story of just having a template that you can do anything that you want. I think the unique thing, just like how you are a doctor, I think the unique thing in which we actually do is that we had a goal, and by all means, we didn't quit. We didn't quit. We
Remember.
saw it through. We stayed firm, and we stayed consistent, and boom, till we got to the other side. So, you know, that's the first answer, that I'm already pleased that I get to wake up every morning and do something that I admired when I was a kid. And that's just, I mean, like they say, if you do something you love, it'll be like you never worked a day in your life. And I get to live that. The other answer to it is really, is again for my daughters. My vision for, you know, the brand is to keep progressing, keep growing, keep scaling, keep basically learning and being a student within my industry, and keep providing just great product, and also just trying to scale and try to just grow the brand as much as I can. You know, I think respectfully, I'm regional, even though I have a nation, you know, wide reach. You know, hopefully within the next 5 to 10 years is what I'm working on. Is that, you know, I'll be a national brand. I really don't aspire to kind of like be in stores or anything, because that goes back to that saturation point.
Yeah,
I
right.
want to be accessible but not attainable to everybody.
Mm,
I really, in the next 5 to 10 years, would kind of like to have my own just Rolodex, so to say, throw out some old language and just deal with the certain top tier clients that I have, and I'm cool by that, you know, because this is art within, you know,
right.
within this frame. So, you know, to be an artist and be able to do certain things, you don't necessarily want everybody to have your art. You just want, you know, that small few who can appreciate it at the highest level. And, you know, that's really what I'm trying to obtain at the end of the day.
Absolutely. Well, man, Kyris, I really appreciate you, brother, for coming on the show, man. This has been amazing. I got to get one of. Look, I've had a few custom suits in my time, and I have a few that there was a company. I forget the name of the company, but there was a lady. It was a female tailor, or associate working with the company, and she would go out to people's houses or their jobs and, you know, measure them. And, you know, they came out. The suits were pretty darn nice, good fabric. But the shirts, man, they would always like, for paying all this money, you know, $150 just for a dress shirt, $200 dress shirt. It's like, man, those things, if they would be so wrinkled, and I mean, maybe, and I probably should have been dry cleaning them, you know, but
Right.
if you put it in like a gentle cycle and then, you know, you press it out yourself, I'm thinking a shirt that expensive should be definitely wrinkle free. So does
Yeah.
that just depend on the fabric, or do you
Yeah,
have those?
it depends on the fabric. You know, like in today's technology, you know, people when they think about technology, they think about certain apparatuses that we use, like phones and computers. But technology goes into a play to actually goods that we actually drive and wear. And technology plays a huge part on how clothing is actually made, and also certain endurance and just certain, I would say, aspects and functional uses that, you know, clothes are made. So, you know, I have fabrics that are waterproof. I have fabrics that are anti-wrinkle. I have fabrics that, you know, basically complementary towards the season of all 4 seasons. So, I mean, it's just mind blowing for some of the stuff that I get from my vendors now, as far as my fabric company, is that, you know, I'm like, wow, you know, I just actually got some sport material in that I'm going to use for Mississippi State football team, where it has the aesthetic of a suit, but it's actually like dry fit material. But from
Yeah.
afar, you can't tell that it's dry fit material. But it has all of basically the functional pieces, like you will put, you know, something that like some dry fit jogging pants or a sweatshirt on. So it's, you know, it's phenomenal.
Yeah, that's phenomenal, man. Well, look, soon as you got to let us know, man. Soon as you read, or do you have a? I tell you what we always want to do with our guests, we let them, you know, tell everybody before we go about, you know, who you are, where they can find you, whether, you know, phone numbers on the Instagram. Do you have a catalog online or a website where we can see some of the products, or do you do
Yeah,
both?
so on the website, that's where you book a consultation. I have some of my contacts, but I also have categories between formal, business, semi-formal, things of that nature, where you can kind of see some things that I've done. Then it also has pretty much my website information, my phone number, how you book a consultation. I'm also on Instagram. That's where you see most of all my recent work, because I probably post, between 3 to 5 times a week. But you can go on there on Instagram. It's Kyris Kustoms at KYRISKUSTOMS. Kyris Kustoms all together. And then it's also the website, www.kyriskustoms.com. And then my phone number is area code 504-451-4886. And I wish I would have spoke about it earlier, but I just released my first fragrance, which is a unisex
Oh, yeah.
fragrance.
That's right. Yes, yes. I meant to bring that
I
up.
released it last year for Thanksgiving Day, and I sold out the first parcel, and now we're on the second installment. And it's been doing pretty good, and I'm really appreciative that people made a blind purchase on Thanksgiving Day. But it's a unisex fragrance. Took me about 2-3 years to develop. It was always something I wanted to do since I was a kid. I did a project in college on the fragrance, not necessarily having a tangible bottle, but I had the design and I showed the methods of how I was going to market it and how I was going to get into retail stores. And then a couple years ago, I was buying my last bottle of Bun, and I said, man, you know what? I'm gonna do this myself. And I started my homework, and here we are 3 years later, and I released it last Thanksgiving, and it's been doing good. I feel like Master P selling the CDs out the trunk, Yeah, so it's been awesome. I really appreciative for the people who made that purchase. I really thank you.
I got to get a bottle, brother. So let's catch
I
up.
got you.
Gonna be in town this week, man. I'd love to get a bottle.
Yes, sir. I got you. Gift on me.
What'd you say now?
I said gift on me.
Oh man, I sure need it right now, brother.
Yeah, man. Yeah, it'll be my honor. We'll link up after the show. I get it to you this week.
Okay, man. I'd love to. Well, look again. Thank you all so much for watching another amazing episode of Telehealth Tuesday, and thank you to Mr. Kyris Brown. We really appreciate everything that you're doing in the community. Give it up for him, folks. I love that applause effect, man.
I do. It's real 90-ish sitcom. I like that.
Yeah, man. Martin and Living Single, but
oh yeah, those were the shows.
It was, man. But yeah, thank you so much again, brother, for being on. We always love all the fantastic audience participation each and every week. Next week, we will have Dr. Sharman Robinson, DPT. She is a doctor of physical therapy. She has her own clinic in Flowood, I think not too far. Lakeland Drive. I think it's Lakeland Drive, not far from GI Associates, but we'll let her tell y'all all about that. And this will be the makeup episode from a few months ago where unfortunately she had fallen pretty ill, and so we were not able to have her on the show. So we're excited about that. We're so excited, and I'm definitely going to get with Mr. Brown to get that Kyris Kustoms cologne. And so, God willing, we will see you next Tuesday at 7:00 p.m. Central Standard Time, always on a Tuesday. This is the place where we treat mind, body, and soul. And as always, remember that true wealth begins with good health. Bye-bye. Hello, I'm Dr. Michael Bookhardt. Come join us at our newest clinic location at Good Faith Wellness Center. We provide compassionate health care for your entire family, from virtual visits to office appointments. We're committed to providing the best care. We accept all insurances, and we provide monthly wellness plans. Let's start your family journey to a healthier, happier life. Schedule your appointment today. And remember, true wealth begins with good health.